In slowly opened her eyes, the harsh white light of the hospital stinging them. Her head throbbed, and for a moment, she couldn't recall why she was there. Then Myra's tear-stained face leaned into her view. Thank God, you're awake. Myra clutched her hand tightly. In's lips moved weakly. Myra, he left me. Before Myra could answer, the doctor entered, holding a chart. His voice was calm, professional, but the words made both women freeze. Miss In, you fainted due to stress and weakness, but the tests confirmed something else. You're 4 weeks pregnant. The room fell silent. In's breath caught in her chest, her hand instinctively drifting to her stomach. Pregnant, she whispered, her voice trembling. Myra gasped, tears welling up again, this time mixed with shock and relief. In, you're going to be a mother. A sob escaped Anne, but it wasn't of pure sadness. It was bittersweet. Her heart ached from Tae's betrayal, but at the same time, a soft smile broke through her tears. She whispered, almost to herself, even if he left me. He left me with a part of him, our baby. Just then, Jimin burst into the room, panting, worrying written all over his face. Ina, are you okay? What happened? Myra looked at him, her expression torn between joy and sorrow. She finally said, she's pregnant, Jimin. Jimin froze in place, his eyes darting to In, then to her stomach. His chest rose and fell sharply, trying to process it. In gave a small, shaky smile through her tears. I'm happy. At least I'm not alone. I'll have my baby. For the first time since the papers arrived, her heart held something more than pain, a fragile spark of hope. The heavy atmosphere of the mansion thickened as Tae walked in, loosening his tie after a long day at the office. He froze when he saw a stranger seated politely in the living room with his parents. Mr. Kim, the man said, rising. I'm Ms. Lee's. Tae cut him sharply, correcting with clenched teeth. Her name is In. Mrs. Kim's face stiffened at his tone, but she forced a smile. Why are you here? The lawyer calmly opened his briefcase and pulled out a folder. I was sent by Ms. In. I have official documents for Mr. Kim to review. Tae sat down slowly, confusion creasing his forehead. What documents? The lawyer slid the papers across the table. Divorce papers, the word struck like a thunderbolt. Tae's eyes widened, his skin drained of color. Mr. Kim inhaled sharply, glancing between his son and the lawyer in disbelief. Tae's voice trembled, almost breaking. Divorce, no. No, we just had arguments, misunderstandings. We can fix this. Before he could continue, Mrs. Kim quickly interjected, her tone gentle yet sharp. Maybe this is what she truly wants. Tae, sometimes letting go is better. Tae turned his gaze to her, hurt flickering in his eyes. He shook his head faintly, refusing to believe. The lawyer cleared his throat and continued professionally. Ms. YN has refused to take even a penny of Mr. Kim's wealth or property. Mrs. Kim smirked faintly. Good for her. But the lawyer's next words changed everything. However, the divorce comes with a condition. Once signed, Mr. Kim forfeits all parental rights over the unborn child. He cannot demand custody, cannot claim visitation. The child will legally and solely belong to Ms. In. The room froze. Tae's world shattered in an instant. Child, his voice cracked. She's pregnant. Mr. Kim's eyes widened in shock, his hand covering his mouth. Even Mrs. Kim was momentarily struck dumb before she quickly recovered. Her voice was sharp, almost careless. Then let her keep it. We don't want that child anyway. Sign it, Tae, and free yourself. Free us. Tae's head snapped toward her, his eyes narrowing. He studied her face deeply, as though seeing her for the very first time. How can you say that so easily? His voice was low, filled with a quiet fury. Mrs. Kim's composure faltered. I'm only thinking of you, son. She's trying to trap you with this child. But Tae didn't reply. His jaw tightened. His hand shook as he grabbed the papers. And without another word, he stood. Tae, Mrs. Kim cried, chasing after him as he stormed out, but he didn't stop. The slam of the front door echoed through the mansion like thunder, leaving Mrs. Kim pale and shaken. For the first time, she realized she had pushed him too far. The city lights blurred outside as Tae sat motionless in his car, parked on an empty road. The divorce documents lay open on the passenger seat, the bold words mocking him with every glance. His hands gripped the steering wheel, veins straining, knuckles pale. Mrs. Kim's voice replayed in his head like a cruel echo. "We don't want that child. She can have it." Sign it. His eyes burned, not just from tears he refused to shed, but from the realization how easily she had said it. As if that life, his child, meant nothing. Jimin's sharp words cut through next. "Your mom can be wrong, Tae. She's not just worried, she's controlling you." And then In's trembling confession resurfaced, the one he had brushed aside, silenced with a kiss. "Your mom doesn't like me. She feels I'll take you away from her," each voice stacked over the other, a puzzle he had refused to solve until now. He slammed a fist against the wheel, chest heaving. "Why didn't I listen?" he whispered hoarsely, his voice breaking into the empty night. He reached for the papers, his gaze blurring as he stared at the condition. Forfeit all rights to the child. The thought twisted in his chest. His child, their child, he had almost signed it. He had almost let his mother decide for him again. A bitter laugh escaped his lips, hollow and broken. "Everything's falling apart." Because of me, the silence in the car swallowed him whole. For the first time, KIMTAEHYUNG realized he wasn't just losing his wife, he was losing himself. The doorbell rang again, inside, rubbing her temples. But when she opened it, there he was, Tae, breathless, desperate. In's eyes filled with tears, but her voice was cold. "In, don't act clueless. Tae, you started it. You chose your mother. You signed those papers. Don't come here pretending you care now." Tae froze, his heart pounding. "Tae, what? I never." He shook his head violently. "I was confused, but divorce, never. I could never leave you." In cutting him, "Then explain this." She stormed to the table, grabbed the envelope, and slammed it against his chest. Tae pulled the papers out with shaking hands. His own signature stared back at him, his handwriting, his name. Tae shocked, whispering, This is but I never signed. I never sent this." His knees almost buckled. "Ina, why would I do this? I love you. I could never." In turned away, tears spilling. Enough. "I don't want excuses anymore. I don't want my child to be a pawn in your mother's game. I'd rather raise this baby alone than watch your mother destroy us." Tae dropped the papers, falling to his knees in front of her, clutching her hands desperately. "Tae, please, for the sake of our baby, for us. Don't shut me out. Don't believe this lie." But pulled her hands back, her eyes cold even through the tears. "Go home, Tae. I don't need you. My child doesn't need you." Her words sliced through him deeper than any blade. Tae's hands trembled as he stared at the forged signature again. His jaw clenched, veins in his neck straining. Tae voice low, shaking with rage. This isn't me. Someone's playing with us. And I swear I'll find out the truth." He looked up at In, eyes blazing with both pain and determination. "Tae, listen to me carefully. No divorce is happening. Not now. Not ever. The only way I'll leave you is if I stop breathing. That's it. Otherwise, I'm not going anywhere." In gasped, stepping back at the intensity in his words. But Tae didn't soften. He tore the divorce papers into shreds right in front of her, letting the pieces scatter to the floor. Tae cold, final, You can send 1,000 lawyers, 1,000 papers, I'll burn them all, you're mine, and our child is mine. Nothing can take that away. He grabbed his coat, eyes stormy, and stormed out of the apartment. In stood frozen, her heart torn between fear and longing. She whispered to herself, trembling, then who? Who sent those papers if not him? Meanwhile, Tae drove off like a man possessed, his mind replaying his mother's words, In's tears, Jimin's warnings pieces snapping together. Tae to himself, furious, if my own mother forged this? If she dared, I'll tear everything apart. Tae walked up the grand staircase, his steps heavy but steady. His face blank, unreadable, Mrs. Kim appeared at the bottom, clutching her shawl, her voice laced with false concern. Mrs. Kim, Taehyung, where were you? Where did you go? He froze mid-step, then slowly turned his head, looking down at her. His voice was flat and motionless. Tae, I divorced her. Gave up all my rights on that child. For a moment, silence. Then Mrs. Kim's lips curved into a smile of relief. Mrs. Kim, you did the right thing, Taehyung. It's best for your future. He studied her carefully, eyes piercing. Tae quietly, I don't want anything to do with her child. Her smile widened. Mrs. Kim, exactly. That girl was trying to baby trap you. Don't worry, you'll have many children later with someone better. Tae's lips curved into a faint smile. He nodded slowly. Tae, yeah. She raised the baby alone. Mrs. Kim shrugged, dismissive. Mrs. Kim, let her. Leave her. You have me. What more do you want? Tae placed his hand on the railing, his eyes still locked on her. His voice dropped lower, almost chilling. Tae, if it's a son, she raised him like you raised me. With hardships, with suffering, all alone, Mrs. Kim smiled proudly. Mrs. Kim, of course, baby. I did it for you. I'd do it again. Tae's smile sharpened, cutting. Tae, and one day, he'll grow up. He'll fall in love. He'll want to marry. But then... She played the villain in her own son's love story. The smile on Mrs. Kim's face faltered. Mrs. Kim stammering, what are you saying? Tae exhaled, his voice calm but laced with venom. Tae, this is the cycle, isn't it? Your mother did it to you. You did it to me. And now, one day, she'd do it to her daughter-in-law. Mrs. Kim's eyes widened, color draining from her face. Mrs. Kim, a no. Taehyung, that's not true. I never. Tae shook his head, clicking his tongue in disappointment. Tae, no more lies, Mom. I know all your great deeds. Are you happy now? I left her, just like you wanted. And with that, he turned and walked into his room. Mrs. Kim's voice cracked as she screamed after him, panic flooding her chest. Mrs. Kim, Taehyung. Taehyung, but the door slammed shut, locked. Inside, Tae sat on the edge of his bed, his fists pressed against his forehead. His mind replayed everything from the first day of his marriage to the forged papers, to In's tears, to his mother's fake sickness. For the first time, the puzzle was complete, and it broke him. The city was waking up, but Tae had already been sitting in his office for hours. His phone still lay on the desk from his last call, his worst call. The law firm had confirmed it. The divorce papers hadn't come from him. They had been drafted and pushed by Mrs. Kim in his name. When the line disconnected, silence swallowed him whole. He sat there, motionless, staring at nothing, yet feeling everything. His mother, the woman who fought the world for him, who raised him with blood and sweat, could be this cruel. Tae thinking, if she didn't like In. Fine, but what about my child, our child? Didn't she once fight for me the same way? Didn't she once swear I was her world? His throat burned, his heart pounding like a war drum. For the first time in his life, he questioned her love. The door opened softly. Jimin entered, carrying 2 cups of hot chocolate. He didn't say a word at first, just placed one in front of Tae and sat down across from him. They sat in silence, 2 friends, one broken, the other quietly holding him together. Finally, Jimin spoke. Jimin, you don't have to tell me, but I know. She hates in, Tae let out a scoff, hollow and bitter. Tae, hate, I can understand, but this. Drafting divorce papers, what did she gain? Jimin leaned back, exhaling, Jimin, to her, in is a competitor. Tae's head snapped up, eyes flashing. Tae, competitor, she's my mother. Jimin, no one can take her place. And Inin is my wife. They're two different parts of me. What's the competition in that? Jimin shook his head. Jimin, you're right. But she doesn't see it that way. She wants all of you, your love, your attention, your life. Sharing you feels like losing you. Tae dropped his gaze, clenching his fists. Tae quietly, I told her. I divorced in. Jimin's eyes widened in disbelief. Jimin, what? Tae nodded weakly, his face blank. Tae, if I hadn't, she would have gone behind In's back again. I couldn't risk her life. I couldn't risk our baby. So I gave my mother what she wanted. Jimin leaned forward, anger flashing. Jimin, Taehyung, that's not the answer. You can't just, Tae cut him off, his voice breaking. Tae, I don't deserve her forgiveness. Jimin, I don't even want it. I promised her I'd stand by her better or worse, together. And what did I do? I broke her. I crushed every ounce of her trust. All because of my blind faith in my mother. His lips trembled, eyes wet, but no tears fell. Tae, I'm the man who ruined the woman I loved. She relied on me, she trusted me, and I destroyed her. Jimin's heart ached at the sight of his best friend collapsing from the inside. Jimin softly, it's not your fault, Tae. Everyone trusts their mother. For you, she was your whole world. You didn't know. You couldn't have known, but Tae shook his head violently, laughing bitterly through the pain. Tae, no, Jimin, I was just an idiot. And with that, silence returned heavy, suffocating to men sitting in an office, but only one fighting a war that had already shattered him.